a kind, a pair of fools. Two women, one man's been lying to. You thought you were the only one.
Barbara Mandrell, our special guest today.
Yeah, our guest today has had one of those careers that everybody knows about because she's been so visible throughout her career. However, once you start reading this new book, you find a pretty compelling story as you go behind the scenes.
That's right. It's called Get to the Heart, and I'm sure that people have been asking Barbara to write her life story for many, many years, and she didn't really do it until after that devastating accident in 1984, and believe me, she has a lot to tell. Please welcome Barbara Mandrell.
How are you?
Hi, Barbara.
You're looking good, of course.
Great to see you. Have
Well,
a seat there.
Make yourself at home, please. Kick
Well,
off
first
your shoes.
thing that I must ask you, you have been everywhere. I mean, I have seen you on Larry King and Sally Jesse Raphael. You've been on all of these shows. And my first question has to be, are you very tired of reliving the accident, or has it been therapeutic for you? Has it been good?
The only day that it was so very difficult for me, and I really didn't think of it until at the moment it happened. But September 11th, which is the anniversary date of the crash, and I did the Today Show and something else that day, and I saw some videotape that they, you know how the monitor's sometimes off to the side, and I looked as they were speaking of the car crash, and they had videotape I had never seen, and I was just kind of devastated, you know, and then all of a sudden, boom, we're on, and that was tough.
But this past September 11th, is that what you're talking about?
Yes.
Yeah. The gentleman who assisted you in writing
George
this book,
Vesey.
George Vesey. Yeah, he's written, you know, books along with Loretta Lynn, Martina Navratilova, and a few others. See, I can say Navratilova.
You can say it.
Thank
I
you.
can't.
Yes.
He's practicing all day.
I told Charlie I'm only on a first-name
What?
basis. I can only say Martina. I can't say her last name.
Well, I mean, how did you come to write with George? Because what you're saying in there, the story you're telling is as personal as you can get.
Thank you for letting me speak about George. He interviewed me for a 3-day interview about 8 years ago. I was in California working on our television series, and he made such an enormous impression on me. Think about this, 8 years later, I signed the contract with Bantam, you know, to write my book, and I was to do it all myself, and I felt comfortable with that, and a few months were rocking on, and I was writing with the legal pad and longhand, you know, and my mother was saying, Barbara, please let me teach you how to use the computer. I said, Mother, no, I don't even know how to turn them on. You know. So in the legal pad, I'm writing it in longhand. And I have always so many projects, just like you, Lorianne, going on at one time.
Yeah.
And he who yells loudest gets, you know. So I thought, this is not going to work because I've got nobody saying, you haven't written anything today. And so I said, I've got to have a professional write this with me so that they're accustomed to really buckling down and working. And I called my attorney and my friend Alan Siegel, who is the one that talked me into writing a book. I said, get me George Vesey to write this book with me. He said, okay, great. Who's your second choice? I said, no, I want George Vesey. So I got George Vesey.
Good.
That's wonderful.
The main thing I learned in the book was how seriously you were injured. I think a lot of people feel that way. They thought, you know, she broke her leg. We know she had a head injury, but we didn't know that it really devastated her life as much as it did.
A lot of your close friends didn't know that.
You kept
No.
it. Why did you keep it from people?
But even you, because Lorianne and I have been close friends for, well, you and I too, Charlie, but we're boyfriend-girlfriend. I mean, Lorianne and I for many years, and I appreciated so much that you put together, when you did, I'm sorry if I don't call it the right thing, but you took some old interviews that you had done with Hank Jr. and
Right, it
with
was
me,
Celebrities
and,
Off Stage, like the best of.
and you updated it, and you spoke
Right.
of my book and things, and I was amazed as I watched it at some of the questions back then that you asked then, not now. You sensed, you knew, you did know more than anybody else asking me questions. I was a mess. I was.
Now, when you say a mess, now you chronicled it in the book. The memory loss,
Yes.
the sudden mood swings and so forth.
Very severe mood swings. That's what the neurosurgeon called them. Over nothing. I just get so happy and thrilled. And I mean, my daughter could walk in the room and I'd say, that skirt and blouse, that is the best. I mean, I'm making this up. I don't remember what it, but I cannot believe you are so gifted to put something together so beautiful. I mean, and I would go on and on, and they might set a Coca-Cola down on my bedstand or something, and what are you doing that for? You make a ring on the front. I mean, only it was much rougher than that.
Just turn real quick.
Oh, horrible mood swings. But I had terrible memory loss. I learned a lot doing this book because George and I interviewed my husband, my father, my mother, my children, Joanne Barry, Tim and Kathy Buchek, Dr. Lovern, and Janice, his wife. And I found out things I would have never known at all because I had no recollection whatsoever. Wow. And so it was very enlightening for me. And I, you know, it was, of all the projects I've ever done in my life, it was the most difficult.
I can imagine that.
Project.
2.5 years to write this, to get it all
over
together?
2.5 years.
You know, you say you're different. You've often said that. Before the accident, I think I would have described you as very much in control, confident. You got the world by the tail. Do those adjectives still fit you, in your opinion?
You are so, you are a smart lady. That was one of the major things that I lost. You see, I was not Barbara Mandrell. Literally, that was her. I referred to her in the third person. She did that. She. I'm not her. And that's the way I was after this. As far as I was concerned, I would never perform again, never. In speaking to the neurosurgeon, I'm sorry to be so serious, but I said, am I crazy? Because I was aware that I used to think this, now I think this. He said no, he called it maturing. Instant maturing. He said a lot of the things you feel, a lot of the things you think were inevitable, but they would have taken about 20 years. And at the moment that your head was hit, you just, boom, you went to that. He said he sees that a lot with terminally ill, especially like children with cancer and things of that nature. But anyway, he said, I said, why does everybody speak to me about performing again, and why can I not, I don't even want to think about it. He says, you have lost all self-confidence.
Yeah. I want to find out how you got Barbara Mandrell back. We're going to take a break, and we will be back with Barbara Mandrell.
Dave Thomas, founder of Wendy's, never knows when inspiration is going to strike. Introducing Wendy's new grilled chicken filet. A whole breast of chicken with lettuce and tomato topped with honey mustard on a toasted bun. This could be Dave's best tasting chicken sandwich ever.
This could be my best tasting chicken sandwich ever.
Wendy's new grilled chicken filet. It's grilled to be great.
The Perkins women are baking.
Nestle's Toll House cookies.
Here's the secret ingredient.
Nestle Toll House morsels, that's a secret?
They're so rich and creamy. Nestle Toll House morsels are the creamiest.
Nestle Toll House morsels. Make your house a Toll House.
Mannington Gold floors come with a guarantee that will blow you away. If you're unhappy with your floor, we'll replace it free. No questions asked. Mannington Gold, a shining example of what a floor should be.
Hi, I'm Dan Miller with Marlene Sorosky and a tip from the Crisco Kitchen.
To keep food from sticking to your grill, rub Crisco shortening on your cold barbecue grill rack.
A great idea for indoors or outdoors. Crisco, the recipe for success.
The secret to any great pie is a light and flaky Crisco crust. And this month, you can find out how easy it is to make. Just watch. With 50% less saturated fat than butter, Crisco is the recipe for success. Look in this month's Good Housekeeping and these other magazines for your Crisco pie crust recipe.
What makes TNN's new show, Video PM, so appealing?
Clint Black is adorable.
Let's face it, this guy has sex appeal.
I just love deep thinkers.
Vince Gill, make me forget dinner, please.
Video PM, It's not just the music, it's who makes the music.
Steamy.
Video PM. 3 hours of great country hits. Weekdays 5 to 8 Eastern. Only on TNN.
On the next Crook and Chase, we have a profile in courage when we talk with Connie Francis. And Jimmy Carter reviews the latest gangster movie in theaters.
Plus, we'll visit with country veteran Razzie Bailey live. Also, we'll talk to Jake Steinfeld about the new series by Jake.
Talking about her book, Get to the Heart. Now, I wanted to ask you how quickly you got what you think is the real Barbara Mandrell back after the accident. I know it must have been a long process.
It was, Lorianne. I vividly remember 2 times in particular, even after the 18 months of rehabilitation and recuperating and all of that in the cocoon of my house. I remember after I came back to work, 2 times where it was just all of a sudden like it just opened up, and I thought, well, yes, this is the way it should be, which was more like she was, you know, Barbara Mandrell. And so I know of the healings, and I think it's so important too for people. That's why I was one of the reasons I was so open in the book. But it's so important for people, unless it hits close to home, to someone they know and love, a head injury, you really don't know about it. And you know, that's what we are, is our brain. That's us. And so I became a totally different person, and I think it's, well, whether it's safe to say or not, I have a right to my own opinion. I am myself again.
Well, good.
You know, so wonderful. And my father and Ken would argue with that.
Wait, I have a question here that I think a lot of people would probably ponder themselves. George Vesey, who worked with Loretta Lynn, of course, that turned into a movie, Coal Miner's Daughter. If this turns into a movie, who would star as Barbara Mandrell?
Oh, it would be nice to think of it being a movie. We've had some offers for
That's good. Who would you like to see play you, though?
She could play herself. You've done some acting.
The truth, in my wildest, if I could have what I wanted, I am Michelle Pfeiffer. Because I saw a movie where she sang, and she sings really great. Anybody could sing and imitate me. I mean, she could do it for
Don't
sure.
say that.
And she's so pretty, and my daughter loves her, and lots of people love her. And I would she's so pretty, I would like, if it's gonna be me, I'd like it to be pretty.
Well, let's do this. If Michelle Pfeiffer happens to be watching the show, Michelle, go pick up a copy of this. This is Barbara's new CD, and you can start, learning a few of the words. This is no nonsense. So, as far as the career is concerned, it's no nonsense. You're back in business.
Yeah, I like that title. I stole it from No Nonsense Pantyhose that I use. I did.
Well,
if something's good, steal it, you know. and so Jimmy Bowen produced that album.
Yeah.
And it was just a really neat experience. So I named it No Nonsense. It was about 2 weeks later, I signed a contract with No Nonsense Pantyhose.
Oh, that's great.
And they sponsor. In fact, when you buy that, you get a free pair of pantyhose.
Well, I'll go right out and buy that.
Yes. You have to shave your legs first.
Well, I'll tell you, Barbara has so many interesting stories to tell. We could talk to her for 3 days. Obviously, they won't let us do that, but get the book, Get to the Heart, and I think you'll see some real revelations in there, and I think it's good you did it.
Come see us again soon, would you?
I would love it. I've already told you backstage I better be good today because I want to come back and see you even as soon as December if you'll let me.
She's got another story for you. We'll find out from Barbara Mandrell. Thanks for being with us, folks. We'll see you tomorrow.
Bye.
Accommodations courtesy of Nashville's historic Union Station Hotel.